Retirement planning should not be a guessing game, and that is why every week we turn to certified financial planner and founder of Right Path Wealth Management in Henderson, Jimmy Lynn, for straightforward answers to those lingering retirement questions. Jimmy, it is always great to be with you. Happy Saturday.
Thank you. Good to be here. I got my kids are going to tennis and volleyball today, so this is a good break in the day before I'm their personal Uber driver.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll get to it soon. We've got a solid agenda lined up today. Much to discuss. But before we get into it, want to let our listeners know about the opportunity that we have for them today. If you have been wondering if your retirement plan is truly working for you, now is your chance to find out. Jimmy and his team are offering a complimentary retirement consultation to our first 5 callers today. 702-744-8344 is the number to dial. And I just want to emphasize there is no obligation attached to this. This is a no pressure, no judgment meeting, and it's a chance for you to get those big questions answered. And we're offering this exclusively to our radio listeners as well, but spots are limited, so go ahead. Let's get yours claimed. That number again is 702-744-8344. One more time, 702-744-8344, or you can always connect with us online at rightpathwm.com. All right, Jimmy, let's get into it. You may have noticed some familiar chatter on the financial headlines lately because it seems like meme stocks are back. You remember the GameStop and AMC frenzy back in the day? Well, the internet is doing its thing again with names like Kohl's and Open Door. But options trader Tom Sosnoff reminds CNBC that if it looks like a duck,
let's be real about what they're moving. This is a $1 or $2 stock that's trading at 3.5. But the reality of it is it's still a rinky-dink little stock. So what you're looking at right now is just a lot of noise. And traders are looking for noise. They're looking for action. They're looking for opportunity. I think that's the pull here.
So, Jimmy, while I seriously doubt any of your clients are playing the meme market, have there been times when you've had to flag a part of a retirement plan because it was just too risky?
Yeah, well, I got to start off, Casey, with a public service announcement for all the listeners out there. When you see somebody on TikTok or Instagram giving investment advice, they are not required to be licensed. They don't have to take any type of extensive training or get any certifications. All they need is a phone. So they got their iPhone, they open up their account, and suddenly they're an influencer and they're pumping those meme stocks. So, of course, I often have these clients coming in just kind of asking, hey, Jimmy, what do you think about GameStop, right? But what it really boils down to is people kind of still are in that mindset of trying to chase these sexy returns because most people, as they're trying to save for retirement, they're kind of their mind has been programmed to really just chase those high flyers and, try to keep up with what they see their neighbors getting because their neighbors are talking about this stock or what they saw on the internet that is a really good investment. And what I always encourage people to do, especially the clientele that we work with, are those people that are preparing for retirement. They're just a few years away from it, is you got to have a mind shift. No longer is the sole goal to try to hit home runs with your investments. We're really in that distribution phase. You still want growth. You still want to keep up with inflation. But when I see those meme stocks, I really have to just have people kind of take a step back because like the audio said, right, it's really almost market manipulation. These options traders are trying to pump stocks in one direction or the other. So I always kind of have people get that mind shift and it'll avoid that temptation that a lot of people get.
Well, on the other side of that, what's the risk of having a portfolio that's maybe too conservative? How can that also jeopardize a retirement plan, especially when you take into account inflation?
Well, no, and that's a perfect flip you're bringing up because, for every TikTok video promoting a meme stock, you're going to see another video that's saying the sky is falling. And I don't really espouse to either of those positions. You really want to have kind of a measured approach to your investments, but taking that position of just putting all your cash under a mattress because you think the sky is falling and the whole system is going to fall down. I mean, that can be a disaster for your retirement plans, specifically, as you mentioned, inflation. I actually saw, and I'm going to let you know I'm guilty of this. I did see this on Facebook,
okay.
But if you had $100,000 in 2020, the same buying power you would have in 2025, you would need $125,000. So if you just stuffed away $100,000 under your mattress, you just lost 25% of your buying power. So it is important to not specifically just be so conservative that you're just basically getting minimal returns because the dollar is eroding. So what we really just tell people is, I encourage them to meet with someone. We do it all the time. We talk about it with our Right Path retirement assessment. One of the key components of that is looking at their investment allocations to make sure that it matches their stage in life of what they're going through as far as, wanting to now turn the nest egg that they've built up and make a lifetime income stream that they can never run out of. And so that's an important part of why we encourage people, the listeners out there, if they want to get that complimentary Right Path retirement assessment, they can call our office and we will do that portfolio analysis for them. And we're going to be able to break down the type of risk that they're taking, or if they're not taking enough risk because they're not going to keep up inflation. And we'll make some recommendations for them. So any of those listeners out there, if they want that, I encourage them, give us a call at 702-744-8344, and you can get it on our calendar. We do have a bunch of appointments right now because of the seminars that we just had. So we are limiting this to the first 5 callers, but I definitely encourage people to get that portfolio analysis because you don't necessarily want to be too risky right now, but you also don't want to have your money under a mattress. So get a pair of eyes on that.
Absolutely. And I just want to emphasize again, there is no obligation attached to this. This is just a conversation, no pressure, no judgment. 702-744-8344 is that number. And we are standing by now to take your call. One more time, 702-744-8344, or we are online at rightpathwm.com. All right, Jimmy, I saw a headline this week that said annuity sales have been going through the roof, topping $200 billion in the first half of the year alone. And it makes sense. People nearing retirement are looking for guaranteed income from a wild stock market. Now, I also saw a mention of something called a MYGA, which stands for a multi-year guaranteed annuity. So I wanted to ask you, Jimmy, if you could talk to us about what that is and how you might use one for your clients.
Yeah, we use MYGAs all the time. Surprisingly, not a lot of people know about them, but it's essentially the insurance industry's equivalent of a CD that you would get at a bank. There's 2 really main differences, I would say, though, is that with the MYGAs, they, generally speaking, if you shop it around, you're going to find that you get a higher return. So we're seeing, rates of like 5 or 6% on a MYGA, where CDs are a lot of them are under 4%. So we typically, when we're shopping around, we see that they're getting a higher rate of return. But another really, really big selling point is the fact that a MYGA and a CD are taxed differently. And a MYGA gets preferential tax treatment. What I mean by that is that if you have this easy numbers, you got $100,000 in a MYGA, and you get a 5% rate of return for the year, that's $5,000 of income that you're receiving. But with MYGAs, that's tax deferred. With a CD, you're going to be taxed on that. Every single year you get that interest, you get taxed. So it's almost like a leaky bucket. You're constantly being taxed on that. So that's really the biggest difference. And we got a ton of clients going into MYGAs right now because of the high rates.
Well, now, Jimmy, we know annuities can be controversial. They kind of have a bad rap out there. So for our listeners who might be considering one, what do you think is the biggest misconception that you hear about annuities that you want to set the record straight on?
Well, yeah, annuities, they have a bad rap because of how they were designed in the past, and they probably deserve that bad rap. A couple different things that we've seen that people it's really left a bad taste in some of the consumers' mouths is, number one, there's those variable annuities. Those have a place for some people, but for most retirees, you really don't have a need for a variable annuity because there are a ton of embedded fees in them, and they can go down in value. So that's really something that I've seen where people come in, Jimmy, I hate annuities. I don't want anything part of it. But then we start digging. We kind of understand that, okay, well, they had a bad annuity. They had an annuity that didn't fit their situation. The annuities that we use, when we explain it to clients, and we're not really talking about annuities, I just ask the client, look, you got a bucket of money here. Do you want this whole bucket of money invested in the market where it's going to be really volatile? And when you need some of that money, if the market's down, you're going to have to sell something off and take a loss? Or do you want to keep it insulated from the market? And so you're going to get reasonable growth in this account, But if the market tanks, this account's not going to go down. And when you explain it that way, a lot of times people are like, yeah, that sounds phenomenal. Let me put all my money in that, right? We don't do that, but a lot of times people just want to shift all their money in that. And we explain to them, well, that's a fixed index annuity. And it kind of opens their eyes because there's so many variations of annuities that people have to be re-educated on what they do, because if you get it in the right situation, it's a really, really powerful tool as part of your overall retirement plan. So Casey, if we have those listeners out there that have a situation where they don't want to take on the amount of risk that the market is currently exposing them to, I'd encourage them to give us a call and schedule one of those assessments with us, because we can show them that a fixed index annuity can play a powerful role in their overall plan, but still provide also that additional reasonable growth that they want in the market.
It's super easy to get confused with all the information out there, but thankfully, Jimmy and his team at Right Path Wealth Management are here to walk you through that entire process and help you determine whether an annuity for your unique retirement plan. 702-744-8344 is the number to dial. And remember, our first 5 callers will receive that complimentary retirement consultation from Jimmy. This is your chance for a no-pressure conversation to get that clarity that you are looking for. 702-744-8344 to secure your spot. One last time for you, 702-744-8344, or you can visit us at rightpathwm.com. That is going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from certified financial planner Jimmy Lynn here on the Right Path to Retirement. Take care.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Right Path Wealth Management. Right Path Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Right Path Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Any reference to the protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing carrier. This radio podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Right Path Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Right Path Wealth Management.
Market Guard is a firm that provides investment signals as well as portfolio allocation recommendations, wide variety of model portfolios. Market Guard does not offer advice or enter into fiduciary relationships.